Whispers Across Time. Part 1. The Letters Beneath the Floorboards. The first time Ethan Cole heard the whisper, it wasn't from a person. It came from the silence of his grandmother's attic, a creaking sigh that followed him as he brushed away 50 years of dust. He was supposed to be cleaning the place out, not chasing ghosts. But grief does strange things. After his grandmother Eleanor passed away, her small brownstone in Brooklyn felt like a museum of untold stories. Her perfume, lavender and old paper, still lingered in the curtains. Her rocking chair still faced the window, overlooking the street she had loved since 1946. Ethan hadn't planned on coming back to New York. His life in Chicago had been comfortable, a graphic designer with a steady job, a few friends, no commitments. But when the lawyer called about the will, he felt something inside him pull. A strange curiosity. Eleanor had been a private woman, fiercely independent even in her 80s. Now, standing in her attic, he felt the air hum with secrets. He pushed aside a stack of old trunks, half expecting mice to scatter, and instead the floor creaked beneath his foot, hollow. He crouched, pressed his palm down. Top. Hollow again. Something was hidden there. He fetched a screwdriver from the toolbox and pried up the loose floorboard. Beneath it lay a small wooden box, no bigger than a shoebox, bound with faded ribbon. The smell of cedar and thyme wafted up, old but strangely sweet. Ethan's heart thudded. He lifted the lid. Inside were letters, yellowed with age, tied together with blue string. On the top one, in elegant cursive, "To my dearest Samuel, 1945. Ethan blinked. Samuel? He didn't remember any Samuel in the family. He untied the string carefully, the paper so brittle it could crumble at a touch. Inside, the ink was still legible, dark, graceful, written in the hand of a woman who had loved deeply. My beloved, if this letter ever finds you, I hope it finds you alive. The war has taken so much already, and I fear it may take you too. But even if the world burns, my heart will always wait for you at 142 Willow Street, beneath the maple tree we planted before you left. Yours eternally, Eleanor." Ethan froze. Eleanor. His grandmother. He sank to the floor, the letter trembling in his hand. His grandmother had written this in 1945 to someone named Samuel. But his grandfather's name had been Robert. Robert Cole. A quiet man who died before Ethan was born. He read the letter again, slower this time. There was no mention of Robert. Only Samuel, and love. Fierce, aching love. Outside, a car horn blared down the street, dragging Ethan back to the present. The city was alive, but inside that attic, time had stopped. He reached for the next letter. Letter number 2, June 9th, 1945. My darling Samuel. They say the war in Europe is over, but the world still feels broken. I walk past the pier every morning, watching the ships come home. Every face I see makes me hope and fear. If you return, I'll bake your favorite peach pie. The one you loved when we danced in the kitchen that summer before you enlisted. Please come home, my love. I still dream of your hands covered in paint, your voice humming while you worked. The studio feels empty without your laughter. Eternally, Eleanor. Ethan sat in stunned silence. His grandmother had never mentioned another man, let alone one she'd loved this deeply. He looked around the attic again, at the dusty canvases leaning against the wall, the old phonograph, the box of black and white photos. He felt suddenly like a stranger in his own family's history. Who was Samuel? And what happened to him? That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The city's neon lights painted the walls of the brownstone, the hum of traffic below like a restless heartbeat. The letters stayed on the nightstand beside him, whispering possibilities. He opened his laptop, typed Samuel plus Eleanor plus 1945 plus New York into a genealogy website. Nothing. Then he searched military archives. Dozens of Samuels, hundreds. He filtered by Dresden 1945. And then one match. Private Samuel Hayes, 23rd Infantry Division. Missing in action, March 1945. Ethan stared at the black and white photo on the screen. The same face from the locket. The same eyes that had looked at Eleanor like she was his whole world. He whispered, almost to himself, "Grandma, what did you do?" That night, as he drifted to sleep, the whisper came again, Soft, close, like a memory breathing beside his ear. Find him. Ethan sat up, heart pounding. The attic light flickered on by itself. And on the floorboards, the box of letters had fallen open. A single envelope lay apart from the rest. Its seal unbroken. Part 2. The Hidden Truths of 1945. Where Ethan begins uncovering the secret connection between his grandmother and Samuel. Possibly uncovering a shocking mystery that ties past and present love together? You have not enough humanizer words left. Upgrade your surfer plan. You said. Part 2. The Hidden Truths of 1945. ChatGPT said. Beautiful. We'll continue Whispers Across Time with Part 2. The Hidden Truths of 1945. This chapter deepens both timelines, Ethan in the present and Eleanor in the past, as the letters begin to reveal what really happened between Eleanor and Samuel during the final months of World War II. Here's the full cinematic continuation, around 3,000 words. Whispers Across Time, Part 2, The Hidden Truths of 1945. The letter sat on Ethan's desk for 3 days before he dared to open it. Each time he passed by, it seemed to stare at him. Its faded ink whispering truth will set you free. He wasn't sure if he wanted freedom. He just wanted answers. On the 4th night, rain drummed against the window as thunder crawled across the Brooklyn sky. Ethan sat down, candlelight flickering against the envelope, and carefully broke the seal. Inside was a single page, written not to Samuel, but to whoever found the letters. If you are reading this, you've uncovered a love that history forgot. My name is Eleanor Carter, though the world will remember me as Eleanor Cole. I once loved a man who never came home. They told me he died in the war, but I never believed them. I searched for him until the day I married Robert, not out of betrayal, but survival. If you wish to know what truly happened to Samuel Hayes, follow what he left behind. Begin with the painting, the one with no signature. Under the light, it will speak. Ethan's pulse quickened. A painting. No signature. He hurried to the attic, scanning through stacks of canvases covered in sheets. His grandmother had been a gifted painter, but many of her works had been hidden away after Robert died. Dust motes swirled in the air as he lifted one canvas after another. Portraits, cityscapes, still lives. And then near the back of the room, one painting stood apart, darker, moodier. It showed a man in uniform standing beside a field of red poppies. His face half lit by sunlight, half shadowed. The corner where Eleanor always signed her name was blank. He brought it downstairs, set it beneath the lamp. Under the warm glow, faint words appeared in the brushstrokes, barely visible, a hidden inscription. Ethan leaned closer, breath-catching. Meet me where the river bends. July 1945. Brooklyn, 1945. The heat that summer was relentless. The war had ended, but the world felt fragile. As if peace itself might shatter at any moment. Eleanor Carter sat by her studio window, watching the ships return to the harbor. She was 24, with paint-stained fingers and a heart still waiting for a man who hadn't written in months. Every day she told herself, he's alive. He has to be. Samuel Hayes had been everything the war tried to destroy. Kind, gentle, idealistic. They'd met in 1943 at an art exhibit in Manhattan, where he had been sketching a portrait of a soldier's widow. He wasn't a painter by trade, just a mechanic with an artist's soul. When he enlisted, he promised to come back. He'd even carved their initials into the maple tree outside her house, E&S, and said, "No matter what happens, love will remember us." Now as July baked the streets, Eleanor's hope was fading. She had written dozens of letters, sent them overseas, and received nothing in return. Then one afternoon, a knock came at the door. A Western Union courier stood there, hat in hand. Her stomach dropped. "Miss Carter," he asked softly. "A letter for you." Her fingers trembled as she signed. The envelope bore a military seal, but the handwriting wasn't official. It was rough, hurried, personal. She tore it open. "Ellie, I don't know how this letter will reach you. I'm not in Germany anymore. I'm not supposed to be writing this. The truth is, I saw something I shouldn't have. I tried to stop it. They think I'm dead. If you still love me, meet me by the river bend near the old pier. July 20th, midnight. Tell no one. Yours always, Samuel." Her breath hitched. Alive. Without hesitation, she packed a small bag, a flashlight, a scarf, and the locket he'd given her. That night, the air along the East River was heavy with fog. The city lights shimmered through the mist like ghost lanterns. Eleanor walked quietly, her heart hammering. The pier loomed ahead, empty except for the sound of waves slapping against the wood. Then, a silhouette stepped from the shadows. "Samuel," she whispered. He turned. And for a moment, time folded in on itself. He was thinner, his uniform tattered, his eyes weary. But it was him. He took her in his arms before a word could pass. She felt the tremor in his hands. "Ellie, I don't know how this letter will reach you. I'm not in Germany anymore. I'm not supposed to be writing this. The truth is, I saw something I shouldn't have. I tried to stop it. They think I'm dead. If you still love me, meet me by the river bend near the old pier. July 20th, midnight. Tell no one. Yours always, Samuel." Her breath hitched. Alive. Without hesitation, she packed a small bag, a flashlight, a scarf, and the locket he'd given her. That night, the air along the East River was heavy with fog. The city lights shimmered through the mist like ghost lanterns. Eleanor walked quietly, her heart hammering. The pier loomed ahead, empty except for the sound of waves slapping against the wood. Then, a silhouette stepped from the shadows. "Samuel," she whispered. He turned. And for a moment, time folded in on itself. He was thinner, his uniform tattered, his eyes weary. But it was him. He took her in his arms before a word could pass. She felt the tremor in his hands. "Ellie," he murmured. "I didn't die. But I might as well have." "What happened?" she asked. He glanced around, nervous. "I saw something the army wants buried. Entire villages gone. I tried to report it, but they silenced everyone who knew. They're calling it classified operations. I escaped during the retreat." She stared at him, horrified. "They'd kill you for deserting." "I know." He cupped her face. "That's why I can't stay. I just needed to see you one last time." Tears stung her eyes. "Don't say that. We can leave, disappear, go west." But he shook his head. "They'll find me. They always do." He reached into his coat and handed her a small folded paper. "If anything happens, this will tell you the truth. Hide it. Promise me. Samuel." He kissed her fiercely, desperately. "I love you, Ellie. Always."